Everything is sad now. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to the episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom Grossi, and yikes. Just so much yikes. After I left work at 3:15 p.m., because of the inclement weather, I hit a patch of ice, hit the curb, popped my front tire, spent 2 hours replacing 2 tires, driving home, and it took me until 9:45 to get home, meaning that I missed the entire first half of the Packers game, which apparently was when all the good stuff happened, because by the time I got home, it was just complete sadness, and they only scored 3 points in an entire half. But we'll get to that momentarily. Check out SeatGeek for all your ticket purchasing needs, and if you use the promo code Tom Grossi, you save yourself 20 smackaroonies, and it helps out the show. So go ahead and do that. They sponsor us for now, and we like them as well. So there's that. Also, I know there was a little bit of confusion. The game, again, I got home super duper late. Unfortunately, it took me 5 hours to get home. So we did the live stream on Twitch for the second half. If you did not catch it, the Twitch channel is down in the description. We're probably going to do a little bit of both on in the coming weeks, especially for the Packers-Vikings game. And then this Sunday, I'm thinking about streaming the Vikings-Bears game because it's such a big game for us. And we'll do that on YouTube. So again, if you guys can, just go over to the Twitch channel, follow. It's completely and totally free. There's a lot less lag, and it seems just more like allowing for more fan interaction. So YouTube, again, is not going away. All this stuff is going to be always uploaded on YouTube. It's always going to be free, but there's some opportunities with Twitch that we want to take advantage of to help grow the channel. So if you can help me support me on that channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's take a look at some stats, and then we'll kind of go through what occurred this evening. Rodgers going 21 for 30, 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 11 carries for 40 yards with 1 touchdown, and then 5 for 63 in the air with 1 touchdown. Devontae Adams, 10 for 166, had a hell of a night. And then Robert Tonyan, his first NFL catch. I loved him during the preseason, getting his first catch, and his first catch being a 54-yard touchdown. Good for you, buddy. The Seahawks, Wilson going 21 for 31, 225 and 2 touchdowns. Carson 17 for 83 with 1 touchdown. Lockett for 5 for 71 and Baldwin 7 for 52 with 1 touchdown. So that being said, the first play of the game right out is scrimmage. Seahawks fumble. Packers get the ball, and they march down the field and score. Looks fantastic. The Packers put up 14 points in the first quarter, while the Seahawks were only putting up 3. And I thought, ooh, is this going to be a blowout? But then I remembered it's the Green Bay Packers. Packers scoring 1 more touchdown in the game in the second quarter, while the Seahawks put up 2 touchdowns, and then nobody scoring anything in the third quarter, even though the Packers had numerous opportunities. Rodgers kept rushing, trying to scramble through the middle, and the pocket kept collapsing on him. He also missed some crucial throws, especially in the fourth quarter on that last drive, underthrowing people, missing Aaron Jones twice for easy first downs. One was in the red zone, one was on that last drive. Packers only scoring 3 points in the fourth quarter, and the Seahawks scoring 10, and they only needed 4 minutes left, and then they just ran out the clock because we couldn't stop the run. So let's kind of take this all in. Obviously, a very disappointing finish for the Packers, and that this would have really helped in that the Packers are now sitting at 4-5-1. You have the Vikings and the Bears playing on Sunday, which will be helpful because at least one of them is going to lose. But really, the only chance we have now is winning the division, which is going to be very difficult, or beating out the Seahawks for a wild card spot because now they have a victory over us. And so the Seahawks do have a harder schedule down the line than I believe that the Packers do, but it's going to be tough. We have a huge divisional game coming up next against the Vikings on a Sunday Night Football, which is a must-win. I will say that again. If we lose against the Vikings come not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, I would say our playoff chances are completely and totally done. So I'm not ready to throw in the towel just yet, but some concerning things looking at it. Obviously, the wasted timeouts is something that we joke about all the time, but this is becoming a constant problem. So much that it could have played a factor in the fact of us not challenging the play, that the long pass from Russell Wilson and getting the Seahawks into the red zone and eventually scoring a touchdown on us. That would have been big because it looked like the ball hit the ground. So that could have been something. So we really need to have better clock management. And the second half, the offense just didn't show up. The defense, I would argue, played pretty damn well the entire game, given the fact that they were constantly on the field because the defense would play really, really well. The Packers would get the ball. Fackrell, by the way, talk about Sackrell, playing amazingly this game. Has been doing really, really well all season. So kudos to you, my good sir. But the defense, you can only have so many 3-and-outs or big stops or holding them to a field goal, and then the offense keeps on just giving up the ball 3-and-outs nonstop. So they aren't even running a minute off the clock, and the defense is back on the field. That's not how you win games. And so the offense, which is supposed to be the center of this entire team, is not really doing so. Aaron Jones getting 11 freaking carries. 11 carries. Now, he didn't have the greatest stat line, right? Going 11 for 40. That's not great on the ground. But in those last drives where you need to bleed some clock, why are you throwing the ball? And obviously, Aaron Rodgers is responsible for some of the erratic throws that he made, but why aren't you giving the ball to run the clock down a little bit more with Aaron Jones? I don't understand it. A lot of people are obviously going to be upset, too, about Mike McCarthy not going for it. I understand that, being on their own side of the field. The defense has played well all game, but I can see why fans are going to be upset that McCarthy didn't go for it, as it winds up that Rodgers never even got a chance. Mason Crosby also missed a big field goal from about 46 yards out. I don't blame this entirely on Crosby because the way that the Seahawks were moving the ball, I wouldn't be surprised if they got into field goal range if they really wanted to at that last drive and kick the game-winning field goal. So, a lot of disappointment for Packers fans everywhere. This is a really upsetting loss considering it's an NFC opponent, a potential wild card contender, and we have 2 huge divisional games still left in our schedule. The Lions is obviously important too, but the Bears and the Vikings are the ones that I'm highlighting. We have a game against the Falcons, and then the rest of those games I would argue against like the Jets and the Cardinals are winnable, but it doesn't matter if we don't go and take care of business against our division. And our slum of road games continues in that we are just not playing well on the road, and that this time we showed up in the first half, our offense, and then we completely went away. We scored 3 points in an entire half. That's not how you win football games. Aaron Rodgers is responsible for making erratic throws. Mike McCarthy, could have been more aggressive at it, especially with the challenging of that play. Even watching from TV, I didn't have a good viewpoint of it until they showed it later, so I can kind of excuse that a little bit. But again, Aaron Jones is only getting 11 carries. Like, this isn't freaking rocket science, guys. Like, give them the guy the freaking ball. Like, I don't know why this is so difficult. Like, just to control the tempo a little bit more. You run it on first down, and instead, I can't tell you how many times I saw Rodgers throwing it on first down, it's an incomplete or it's a short dinky little pass for maybe 1 or 2 yards or no completion, and then they're already faced with a 2nd and long and they're put in a position that's not going to be favorable for them. You give the ball to Aaron Jones on first down, he gets worst, right? 3 yards, right? At least it makes it a little bit more manageable because the guy is fighting for every single goddamn yard. Oh God, it's so frustrating to see that they're not giving the balls to their best player. So, I think that this is this loss is it's very in tune with all the losses that we've seen from the Green Bay Packers this year. We didn't see a huge mistake happen, which has kind of been, again, apparent in a couple of other losses, but this idea of just not playing up to the potential, not giving the ball to the best players, and I think there's something to be said about the teams that we have beaten this year, in that we've beaten the Bears. Obviously, that was the first week. It was a miraculous comeback, and that was great. So we beat the Bears, we beat the Bills, we beat the Dolphins. It's just, when are we going to start beating good teams? That might be a difficult question to ask, but I think it's time we start asking, why aren't we beating these good teams? Why aren't we beating the Rams? Why aren't we beating the Patriots? Why aren't we beating the Seahawks? Why aren't we beating the Redskins, who are number 1 in the NFC East? The Lions, that's something completely. That's a Mason Crosby, like, the mishap. I'm going to kind of ignore that game for a second. But why do we keep losing to good teams? Is it our players? Is it our coaches? Is it our schemes? I think it's something that we definitely need to take a look at, and quick, because this, like, right now, and this is kind of gross, the best record that we could have is 10-5-1. And I don't know if that's going to be enough in this highly competitive NFC. We now, at this point, as Packer fans, have to hope for the Bears to drop the ball and the Vikings to drop the ball. Like, that's our only chance. And that's not the position we want to be in Week 11. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Obviously, a disappointing result for the Packers fans, and I truly hate the Seahawks and the fact that the NFL showed the Fail Mary over and over again. Because, again, it just makes no sense. It's like, hey, guys, remember that one time we had really terrible refs because we didn't pay anybody, and then a team lost the game because of that? But that's neither here nor there. That's just being bitter. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com, TOMGROSSI Comedy, on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and, of course, now Twitch as well, and here on the YouTubes. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, and, of course, here on YouTube as well. We do episodes multiple times per week. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you. Disappointing night. Season's not over yet, but we're getting to a breaking point, and something's got to change. But I'm Tom Grossi. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, go Pack Go.